President Xi Jinping and Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin affirm friendly ties over tea chats in Beijing. Nearly 100 airport drug mules are arrested after a 3-month-long cross-border joint operation. And the clock is ticking in quake-hit Afghanistan as the death toll for the earthquake has risen to over 1,400. Good evening, you're watching Cable News. I'm Quentin Yang. President Xi Jinping met Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin and other visiting heads of state in Beijing ahead of tomorrow's Victory Day military parade. In a show of friendly ties, Xi hosted Putin in his residence for tea, and the two countries signed some 20 cooperation agreements. Meanwhile, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has boarded a train to China, making his first visit to Beijing in 6 years. Jimmy Liu reports.
This morning, Xi welcomed Putin in Beijing, calling him an old friend as they began a series of meetings. Xi said China and Russia have achieved fruitful results in their different fields of cooperation. Beijing is ready to work with Moscow to promote a fairer system of global governance, the president said. In reciprocity, Putin addressed Xi as dear friend and hailed unprecedentedly high relations with China. The Russian leader pledged to maintain strategic coordination and high-level exchanges with Beijing. The pair continued their talks over tea, exchanging views on global and regional issues of mutual concerns. The two sides also signed some 20 cooperation agreements in artificial intelligence, energy, aerospace, and other areas. Meanwhile, Xi also met other foreign leaders, including Mongolian President Ugna Kurulzuk, in three-way talks with Putin. The series of meetings took place a day before Beijing stages a military parade in Tiananmen Square to mark the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II, following Japan's formal surrender. One of the high-profile guests of the event will be North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, whose special train was seen arriving Beijing, according to Reuters citing witnesses. Kim will reportedly appear side by side with Xi and Putin during the parade and hold a meeting with the Russian president. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
Back to Hong Kong, in a 3-month joint crackdown on drug trafficking via air routes between local, mainland and overseas authorities, nearly 100 people of multiple nationalities were snared and some 1,200 kilograms of suspected narcotics destined for the city were seized, with an estimated street value of $479 million. Jeremy Zhu reports.
The seized substances from multiple locations include heroin, cannabis, ketamine, and so on. Those arrested, a total of 96 individuals connected to 74 separate cases, range in age from 16 to 69, and represent a variety of nationalities. Authorities report the number of drug trafficking cases involving air passengers was 3.6 times higher than the same period last year, attributing the surge to criminals exploiting the increase in passenger traffic to mask their illicit activities. The operation involved collaboration with 12 mainland and overseas law enforcement agencies. Real-time intelligence sharing enhanced efficiency and led to the dismantling of 4 criminal syndicates. Speaking to the press, Superintendent Kwon Chun-hin from the Narcotics Bureau said syndicates are now adopting more sophisticated methods, such as recruiting non-local couriers from the mainland and overseas to avoid detection, using complex flight paths, and employing drop-and-collect tactics where one courier checks a drug-filled bag and another retrieves it. Authorities warn the public not to become drug mules in pursuit of quick money, as cross-border drug trafficking leads to heavier punishments, with the maximum penalty being life imprisonment. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News.
Separately, police have arrested 86 people in a large-scale anti-triad operation and seized $280,000 worth of drugs, including etomidate, previously known as space oil drug. Running from August 18th to September 1st, the operation, codenamed Rouseweed, successfully busted 4 vice establishments and 2 gambling dens while seizing triad-controlled drugs. Various types of drugs were confiscated, including 145 cartridges of suspected etomidate. A large amount of cash, gambling equipment, and offensive weapons were also snatched. The suspects, comprising 66 men and 20 women, aged 17 to 65, face a long list of charges, including trafficking in and possession of dangerous drugs. Police also discovered that some suspects were involved in money laundering and fraud cases, who established a cryptocurrency exchange and swindled sums of money. In other local news, a 6-month-old girl has died after being found unresponsive during sleep at her Shatin home in the small hours this morning. The infant's father alerted police at around 1:40 a.m. after finding his daughter had fainted while sleeping at home in Yumen House at Yutray Court. She was rushed to Prince of Wales Hospital, where she was pronounced dead shortly after. Police have classified the case as a death of unknown cause and have launched an investigation. A spokesperson from the Shatin District Crime Squad said the cause of death will be established after post-mortem examination is conducted. A fatal fire at a Twin Moon residential block is now being treated as arson after a man fell to his death during the incident. The blaze broke out just after 4 a.m. at a high-level unit in Elegant Garden on King Fong Path. Firefighters deployed a breathing apparatus team and used a single hose line to bring the fire under control. During the fire, a man fell from height and was pronounced dead at the scene. Due to suspicious circumstances, the case has been handed over to police. Around 120 residents evacuated on their own. One woman fell and was injured, requiring hospital treatment. The international community has promised aid for Afghanistan after a powerful earthquake there killed over 1,400 people and injuring some 3,100 others. Meanwhile, rescue workers are struggling to reach remote mountain areas because of blocked roads. Jimmy Liu has more.
In the eastern province of Kunar, one of the hardest-hit regions, desperate Afghans used simple tools to dig through debris in search of survivors and trapped victims. Mostly built of mud bricks and wood, many of these rural homes collapsed, with reports of entire villages being wiped out. A shallow 6.0 magnitude earthquake struck late Sunday in the mountainous areas near Afghanistan's border with Pakistan. Roads already damaged by heavy rain and landslides from a few days before the quake have made relief efforts more challenging. Helicopters are flying in to bring supplies and take the injured to hospitals. The Afghan Red Crescent Society called for urgent aid, including medicines and blood supplies, as local medical facilities were overwhelmed. A United Nations official said rescue teams are quickly getting rid of animal carcasses to minimize water contamination risk. The Taliban government has appealed for international help. A few nations have stepped up, including China, which said it was ready to provide disaster relief assistance according to Afghanistan's needs. Britain has pledged £1 million in emergency funding for the country through the UN and the International Red Cross, stressing that the money will not go into the Taliban's hands. India has provided 1,000 tents to Kunar, with 15 tons of food aid on its way to disaster zones. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
In Pakistan, global warming has worsened monsoon rains, triggering what officials describe as the worst flooding in nearly 4 decades. The deluge has submerged thousands of villages in the agricultural heartland of Punjab, claiming at least 200 lives and displacing nearly 1 million people. The Provincial Disaster Management Authority said all 3 major rivers through the region swelled to historic levels, forcing mass evacuations of approximately 900,000 people and 500,000 animals. Farmers reported near total destruction of rice, cotton, and sugarcane fields, with prices for staple foods like rice expected to surge by 50% amid widespread crop losses. Rescue efforts are hampered by limited resources, stranding thousands more who now face severe food shortages. Officials attribute the disaster to weeks of unusually heavy monsoon rains, a crisis compounded by water released from dams across the border in India. India had alerted Pakistan about the water release, marking the rivals' first public diplomatic contact since a military crisis brought them to the brink of war in May. For Hong Kongers planning a trip to Japan, you might want to bring a handheld fan with you, as the country is widely gripped by extreme heat, with mercury topping 40 degrees Celsius. The extreme heat is remarkably widespread, scorching some 30 different locations. The record was set in early August in Isesaki City, Gunma Prefecture, at a staggering 41.8 degrees. It was closely followed by other areas, including Hotoyama and Shizuoka, which both hit 41.4 degrees. The heat was not confined to the mainland. Even northern Hokkaido saw temperatures approach the 40-degree mark in July. The Japan Meteorological Agency stated that the average temperature from June through August was a full 2.36 degrees Celsius above the 30-year average. With the summer season concluding, there's little respite in sight. The agency forecasts that above-average temperatures will persist across the country through September and October. Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index closed 120 points lower. Top active stocks of the day: Alibaba was down $2.40. Xiaomi was up $1.85. Tencent was down $4.50, and Meituan was down $1.90. Foreign exchange against the Hong Kong dollar: Euro 9.09, Japanese yen 52.52. Gold prices soared through the U.S. $3,500 mark to reach a record high on Tuesday, driven by rising prospects of a Federal Reserve rate cut in this month. Meanwhile, market analysts are also seeing further upside potential for the precious metals. Evelyn Bai reports.
Spot gold skyrocketed to as high as $3,508.73 per ounce during early trading in Asia, exceeding a previous record in April when investors snapped up the safe haven asset due to U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff measures. So far this year, bullion has accumulated a rise of over 30%, surpassing last year's annual increase. As Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell earlier hinted at a potential interest rate cut, all eyes are on whether the U.S. Central Bank will materialize at the rate decision meeting in the middle of this month. Market analysts also attributed the recent rally to Trump's pressure on the Fed's independence. Meanwhile, silver also maintained its momentum, with prices exceeding $40.8 during the Asian session, hitting a 14-year high with a cumulative increase of over 41% this year. Analysts said silver has outperformed gold, mainly due to investors flocking to exchange-traded funds linked to silver, which have seen the holdings grow for 7 straight months. Given the Fed's potential rate cut, a weakening U.S. dollar and piling funds into ETFs backed by silver and increasing imports by India, Morgan Stanley expected that the yellow metal has about a 10% upside potential, while the price of its cheaper cousin silver is close to the investment bank's target level and may have even exceeded it. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
Onto the weather now. Mainly cloudy, a few showers tomorrow. Isolated thunderstorms at first. Very hot with sunny periods during the day, with temperatures ranging between 28 and 34 degrees. And that's our news tonight. I'm Quentin Yang. Thank you for watching. Good night.